Hi, it's Andy, and today I am going to be doing the reading habits tag. This was made by Ariel Bassett, so I'll link her original video down below. This is basically just asking about your habits as a reader, and I think that's pretty self-explanatory. So question 1 is, do you have a certain place at home for reading? I do and I don't. So this room was meant to be a sort of study library, and I wanted to have my reading chair up here, but then I didn't like not being in the living room, so I now have my reading chair downstairs. But a lot of the time I will read on the couch and then switch over to my chair, or I go back and forward. So yes, I know I have a reading chair, but I don't always use it. And I do also read in bed. Question 2, bookmark or random piece of paper? Preferably bookmark. I have a lot of bookmarks and I want to use a bookmark, but if I can't find a bookmark, I will grab whatever is closest and can be used as a bookmark, including my phone. Yeah, so both really. Question 3, can you just stop reading, or do you have to stop after a chapter or a certain amount of pages? I prefer to stop after a chapter or a paragraph break, when they have the spaces or the lines or the stars or something like that. I can stop on a dime, like if I'm at the doctor's and they call my name, I can just go, but I much prefer to stop at the end of a chapter. If someone's talking to me, they'll get the 1 second, I'm finishing the sentence. But yeah, so definitely a chapter in person. 4, do you eat or drink whilst reading? Yes, I will snack on something that I can just like pick up and snack. Normally only if I'm reading a book I can hold open with one hand, or if I'm reading on my Kindle app on my tablet or phone, because I only need one hand, or I can lean it on my knees. So I can just, maybe like a little bowl of crisps or sweeties or something like that, nothing substantial, just and I do also usually have a cup of tea when I'm reading, or a glass of juice, water, just because I am pretty much 90% tea, so I always have tea. I have tea right now, and one of my favourite mugs. Please excuse the chips. It has been with me for a while. Question 5, multitasking. Music or TV while reading? Music yes, TV no. Music I will listen to in the background and have it as a little buzz, not too loud. It's totally fine. If the TV's on, then there's a good chance I will end up getting distracted from my book, even if someone else is watching the TV. So if I can get the TV at a level where I can ignore it, then it's fine, but I wouldn't put something on that I wanted to watch on the TV and then try and read a book, because it would never work. And then sometimes I'll use it for music videos on YouTube or music videos on TV, which I would count towards music more than the TV, to be perfectly honest. Question 6, one book at a time or several at once? I used to always be one at a time. I could not take in more than one story at a time, and still to this day, if I read books that are too similar, then I get myself muddled up. But generally speaking, I will tend to read more than one book at a time. Usually I'll read an audiobook, a Kindle book and a physical book, or I might be reading 2 physical books and an audiobook. I'll listen to the audiobook in the car on my way to work, or when I'm doing something that doesn't need me to listen. With the physical books, sometimes I'll split it, so during the Newts readathon, was it the Newts or the Owls? I think it was the Newts. You had one prompt where you had to read the book after dark. So I read one book during the day and then one book when it got dark, which was a nice way to split it, because it meant I got a break from the book that I was reading and read something fresh, which kept me awake. And it also meant I managed to get both of them done, and it was quite nice to do it that way. I also sometimes have a book downstairs and a book upstairs that I'll read. So book downstairs that I read during the day, and then a book before I go to bed at night, and then things like the Kindle or the audiobook I can listen to or read while I'm out and about. So I'll often have, multiple books on the go at once. Question 7, reading at home or everywhere? Pretty much just answered that, everywhere. I listen to audiobooks in the car. I won't read in the car if someone else is driving, because that makes me really travel sick. I'll bring out a book at the doctor's office, at A&E. I just tend to bring a book everywhere with me, and that way if I'm sitting doing nothing, I can sit and read. I like to read on my break at work as well, so yeah, I'll pretty much read anywhere. Question 8, reading out loud or silently in your head? Silently in my head. As I've just shown you there, I will trip over words a lot because of the muscle control of my jaw and my tongue. So if I was to read out loud, I read out loud much more slowly than I would if I was reading silently in my head. So I have to read silently in my head, otherwise I'd never get anything done. I've always struggled with this. I struggled with it at school, and I mean, if I ever have kids I might get okay with it reading to other people, but I much prefer silently in my head. Question 9, do you read ahead or skip pages? Sometimes. With things like, probably someone's going to dislike me for this, when I was reading The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, the songs, I would just skip over the songs. I'm not interested in reading that sort of block after reading the really intense prose, so I would just skip over that. I skim over that, and if I'm really scared that a character is going to die, I will flip ahead to see if their name crops up, to be like, okay, they're still talking about them, they must be fine, and then I'll go back and reread it. But sometimes if it's a book I've read before and there's a scene that I'm not overly interested in, I might skim over that or skip over that to get to the bit that I am actually interested in, but that's about it. Question 10, breaking the spine or keeping it like new? Keeping it like new. I've read some of these books multiple times and I try my hardest not to break the spines. I try and keep my books as nice as possible because as a kid I would break the spines, I would dog ear the pages. I've got books I can show you from when I was a kid, my Narnia and my Harry Potter specifically, which are wrecked because of the way I used to read them, and they're pretty much unreadable now because there are pages that are coming out. So yeah, I do try and keep them as nice as possible because I don't want to have to spend money on buying a new book of one that I already have because I've wrecked the copy. Some people don't mind doing that, some people like the character that gives the book, but for me, you know, books have always been more of a luxury, so I want to try and take care of them so I can keep them as long as I am actually on, come to think about it, I am actually on my 3rd or 4th set of Narnia books. I had one that my mum's friend spilled coffee on, so can't really blame me for that. One where the pages came out because I read it so often. One I gave to my grandfather. One I have a copy of that has blank pages, so the pages are in the book but there's nothing written on them, and it's clear from when it starts at the beginning that there are pages that are just not printed and in the book. And then a 5th version actually, I'm on my 5th, which is a full set, but 3 of these sets have been gifted to me because people thought I would enjoy them. Ironically, most of the time I already had a copy. Question 11, do you write in books? Harking on from the question before, no, I don't write in my books. I would like to start annotating my books, but only through highlighting. I don't even think, let me see. So these are the copies of Pride and Prejudice and Persuasion that I read in high school when I was doing my advanced higher dissertation on Jane Austen. Here's my bookmark. And even these don't have any annotations or anything in them. What I would do is if I found something I wanted to keep a hang of, I would put it down like a bibliography, so I would write down the quote, the page number, the book, etc, so that I could use it in my essay without actually having to deface the book. Any thoughts went into another notepad, that sort of thing. And even these, you know, they're still in pretty good nick for being 11 or 12 years old, maybe 13. Yes, the same with Persuasion. It has no notes or anything like that. I would like to get, these are like really beaten up for my liking, because they were in a school bag, so they got beaten up. So I would quite like to get some nice copies of these. I would like to get nice copies of a lot of Jane Austen because I really enjoy Jane Austen. So yeah, these are the only books that would have had any annotations in them, and even they don't have any annotations in them. But in saying that, I would like to annotate my favourite books and highlight favourite quotes, favourite moments, but I just want to find a highlighter that's not going to bleed through the page because I still want to keep them in good nick. Okay, so that was the last question. Thank you so much if you watched this. If you want to do the tag, you know, go ahead and do the tag. I would love to see any of your videos if you want to tag me in them to let me have a look at your bookish habits. Yeah, so that's me. I hope you enjoyed the video and I will see you in the next one.